Okay, all right. Well, we're now recording. I'm Dr. Pepe. I work at the CMHC program in Dallas, and I have today Karen Taylor, who will be answering some questions for the Big 10 question project. All right, so let's go ahead and start off. Um, so the first 10 questions are fairly short. So let's go ahead and start with those. Coke or Pepsi?
Coca-Cola for sure.
Okay, great. Snickers or Kit Kat?
Snickers.
Okay. Twitter or Instagram?
Honestly, neither, but Instagram.
Okay. Breakfast or lunch?
Oh, breakfast.
Okay. Olives or pickles?
Pickles, pickles, pickles.
Okay. Hot dog or hamburger, cheeseburger, veggie burger.
Ooh, cheeseburger.
Okay. Gravy or sauce.
Aren't they the same? I'm gonna
Yeah.
say sauce.
Or maybe I'm thinking like salsa, maybe.
Oh, salsa. Okay.
Yeah.
Salsa then. I'll say salsa.
Okay. Grits or polenta.
Oh, grits.
Okay. Hummus or salsa.
Salsa.
Okay, very good. So those were just the quick questions, Karen, and now we can go on to the more in-depth questions.
Okay.
So for this one, it says, what's a challenge you've overcome that shaped who you are today?
Wow. Well, I've had several. However, I think the most challenging one was when my husband passed away 12 years ago and becoming a widow and a single mother to a 15-year-old at the time and having to navigate that suddenly. I think that's the biggest challenge, and it's made me very resilient. I've always appreciated life, but I think it's helped me to see life from a different vantage point because when things happen, you have to adjust and grieving and adjusting to those significant challenges was very tough, but it has really helped shape who I am today. And I'm proud of what my daughter has become and what I've become. So yeah.
Very good. Our first book in the book club that we covered 2 years ago was Man's Search for Meaning.
Oh, yeah.
And big existential, what to do when you have adversity. So yeah, I
Yeah.
really good answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Mhm.
Number two, what's a value or belief you hold that others might find surprising?
Oh, that's a good one. I I I believe that you can never pour into anyone else what you don't embody. That's something that I say frequently, and I think that means that I don't know if people would find it interesting, but I do think sometimes we don't think about often what we are giving out to others that sometimes may be missing the mark because we're empty. So I think it's very important that you do self-evaluations and figure out what do I want to give and do I have the capacity to give it? And if I don't, then let me pour into myself first so that I can give the best of myself to others. So I think that's something that I say frequently. You cannot pour into anybody else what you don't embody.
No, really good. Yeah, that's from coming from a humanistic lens. That is so true.
Yeah.
Okay. Number three, Karen, if you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why?
Oh, wow. I would say probably Mary McLeod Bethune. She was a Black woman, African American woman, who started the first historical Black college and university. Fun fact, she was also my father's godmother, and shaped how my father looked through life and how he became and reached the goals that he did. And I think I would want to talk to her about a woman in a world where African Americans themselves were marginalized and or just not even included, discriminated against in so many ways, how she found the courage, the resilience, the strength to do the things that she did that to this day still impact so many people, not just minorities, but just people in general. And just sitting at that wisdom and trying to gain wisdom on how she was able to do that. I think that's who I would want to sit down and have dinner with. I don't know if I would eat because I would probably be so immersed in what trying to get the information, but I would want to sit with Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune.
Wow, great answer. Yeah, that would be incredible. Okay, and the next one, Karen, it says, "What's a cultural tradition or practice that is important to you?"
Okay. I would say my Christian beliefs. I grew up in a Baptist church, so growing up, we were in church all day. And but it really shaped the foundation. At that time it was of course my parents' belief, but it started a trek of me being disciplined to understand and want to know more about the Bible. So culturally in our family our religion is very important, and so I still attend church when I can every Sunday. If I can't go in person, now that it's online, I watch church online. So being active in my church community, and in my volunteering within my church is something that's extremely important to me. So my faith, my Christian beliefs, is something that I practice often. It's a part of my self care.
Okay, great. Thank you. And then the next question here is, what's the best advice you've ever received?
Oh, you won't be for everybody, but you will be for somebody. And learn to define yourself by what you believe about you and not what others try to tell you that you are.
Yeah, great advice.
I
Okay.
remember that often because my husband is that's something that he would say all the time, and that he would, when our daughter was young, he would try to say, like, learn to define yourself by what you believe about you. And I think that's the best thing because the world will try to tell you you're so many things. But if you don't know who you are, and when those things are said to you, you can sometimes, feel less about yourself. So it keeps me grounded and it keeps me focused and reminds me of my worth.
Yeah, definitely, especially for the people pleasers.
That part.
All right. The next question, Karen, is how do you recharge when you're feeling overwhelmed or empty?
Okay. Honestly, I pray. Um, I do that often, all the time. But I also, when it's something that I really need to kind of disconnect, I love going to the movies. So a good sci-fi, popcorn, hot dog, and some sweet tea, I am good to go. So, and then also exercising. But I think the movies is a way of escaping. So I go into this place where I'm in my little zone and I'm really, especially again, if it's a really good movie, I feel like I'm there and I totally forget about everything and I'm able to disconnect.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And then to go along with that, what's a small but meaningful way you've stepped out of your comfort zone recently?
Oh, great question. I have a coworker who just joined our team, and she is of the Baha'i faith. And I was wanting to learn more about their beliefs. So I was able to go, she invited me to go with her to their New Year. And it's like a 14-day celebration, but I was able to go on the day that it ended and was able to engage in some of the food that they had, learn about their beliefs, their traditions, met other Baha'is. And since then, we've become really close. And I also use that experience as one of my cultural presentations. And it took me out of my comfort zone because I knew nothing about the Baha'i and what they believed. And it was really nice to connect with people and see how they engage, how they celebrate. And it was just a wonderful experience and eat some really good and interesting food that tasted really well. Really good, actually.
Oh wow. So stepping into another culture
Mhm.
and
And a
and
belief
being
system that was different from mine. Hmm.
Yeah, that's great. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And felt
Uh,
very welcome too. It was great.
that's terrific. The next one, Karen, what's a personal goal you're working towards at the moment?
Okay. Well, earning my PhD. I am in my first year in the Counselor Education and Supervision PhD program, and it's actually a goal that I've always had, but I was afraid to embrace it. Not sure. Well, I'm not going to say I'm not sure why. I was afraid about defending the dissertation. Like, what does that look like? Having to stand up and whatever that. Again, I don't know what it looks like. I have an idea, but I shied away from it, and I really felt over the last several years that it was really time for me to do this and embrace the uncertainty, the anxiety, the good anxiety that comes with that, even some of the good fear that comes with it. And I'd never think I don't ever want to be the counselor that feels that they've arrived. I always want to continue to grow and learn. And what better way to do that than to pursue a goal that has always been mine, as earning my PhD and something that I enjoy doing. So that is what I'm working on. A couple of years still to go, but I'm enjoying the journey right now.
Yeah, terrific. And you really seem to have a good attitude, which I
Yeah.
think it's probably, I would say, the strongest quality.
Thank you so much.
All right. So the next one, Karen, is what's your favorite way to contribute to your community?
Oh, I love volunteering. I embrace any opportunity that I can. I recently moved to Mesa 5 years ago, and I volunteered in different areas, but I finally found the organization that I absolutely love, and it's the Fiesta Sports Foundation. So it embodies me enjoying sports, which is football, because they're known really for the collegiate aspect. However, they branched out to now where they do, we volunteer with cancer patients, we volunteer with kids that have cancer. We engage with the YMCA. So being able to give back not just to my community, but all communities. I like to look at the world as a rainbow. So there's a mixture of all types, and being able to be engaged with people that don't look like you and embracing other parts of the culture really makes you a well-rounded person and broadens your horizons. And so a lot of that ties back into my belief system because I have this saying that if you're a Christian, heaven's not going to be segregated. So you better get to know as many people as you can that don't look like you. And so that's how I get back. I like to look at it as community is just not my community. My community is involved anybody that I can come across that I can serve in any capacity to make them feel better, make them feel seen, and heard.
That's great. That's so such a good perspective to have. It's this kind of universality.
Yes.
That's great. All right. And last question, Karen. So this says, describe a time you failed and what did you learn from that experience?
Oh, okay. So let's see. I'm not going to tell my age, but I've had a lot of those. Let's see. Um, I would say I think one of the times that I failed is the way I interacted with my daughter after her father had passed. We were having a conversation about, and this is actually recent, within the last 4 years. We were having a conversation, and as a parent of an adult child in their mid-20s, I always see her as my child. So addressing her and like having her feel like she wasn't an adult. She sat down and she had a conversation with me like, Mom. And it was an aha moment. Let me just say that. She was like, Mom, you've never had an adult child, and I've never been an adult.
Mm,
And I was like, wow, I never thought about it like that. And what I had to do is honestly own it. You're right. And I apologize for making you feel like you still had to hold me in this highest regard, which there's a level of respect that we do have, but not allowing you to have a voice. And I had to admit that I wasn't allowing that. I had to put my pride aside that my child was, for lack of a better word, checking me, but it was in love. And I saw it as a parental failure because I was not allowing her to embrace being a young adult. I wasn't allowing her to have a voice. I wasn't giving her a safe space. And that's something that, as a therapist, you do, but sometimes as a parent, you see your child, there's still this little kid that's running around trying to figure out the world instead of letting them know they have to figure out the world now without me holding on so tightly. And it was a beautiful bonding moment, and it was a beautiful reminder that honestly, in my perspective, if I raise my child correctly in the right way, in my perspective, I raise her to leave. And leaving, not meaning she can't come back, but leave to go spread her wings. And I think that was the significant moment that I would say was a failure because I failed her as a safe space and as a parent to have a voice.
Yeah, that's such a good example. And, I have an 11-year-old daughter, and parenting is hard. It's difficult. So
Yeah,
yeah, I can definitely identify with that. But I mean, I think your humility, I think definitely showed through. And as a parent, I think that's to me that's a really awareness and humility is such a strong quality. So thank you for sharing that.
you're welcome.
Yeah. All right. Well, Karen, we have gone through the 10 rapid fire questions and the other 10 more in-depth questions. Was there anything else that you wanted to share, or anything else that I guess would be, of interest to get to know you as the person?
I actually enjoy this. I think this is a great initiative. I do believe I know Dr. Harris, and I apologize, I don't remember the other person that started this, but I really think that this is a great platform to use. And being able to do this and engage with different people to get to know the faculty and the students and whoever else they put it out to, I really, really like that. And, I like to say that I have a motto that I live by, and it is, my passion is really helping hurting people heal. And we all have a story. And I think sometimes we forget when we encounter people that, everybody has a story. And sometimes just being able to take a moment to listen, to get a little bit more of it, a more glimpse of it, I think embraces the beauty of humanity instead of pulling us so far away. And so that's what I love about being a counselor, giving people spaces to talk um, and just a place of healing. So yeah, I think this is fantastic and I enjoyed it. And you were great. I felt really comfortable. So
All
thank you,
right.
Dr. Lopez.
Yeah, well, thank you.
You're
And let
welcome. And I hope to
me,
interact with you again soon. So again, thank you so much.
sure.